The background I have on Earthworm Jim goes a ways back. Though I have done retro achievements with the Super NES version of the game, I felt a little left out. I grew up with the Sega Genesis version. My first encounter of Earthworm Jim was at a friend's place, the Super NES version. It was absolutely amazing. Soon after playing that version of the game, I rented it at a local video store with my brother. Granted, I was still quite young, so our parents rented the game for us. This game brings up a lot of nostalgia for me. The differences in the Super Nintendo version and Genesis version are very noticeable too. You can hear the differences in the sound. You will also notice that the load times between stages are so much quicker in the Genesis version. The music to me is so much better. Just listening to New Junk City is badass. Aside from those differences, the Genesis version has an extra level compared to the Super Nintendo version. A little fun fact that goes back to my childhood. I love seeing the intro. Then it begins with the title screen. That used to scare me when I was little. I actually enjoyed watching my brother play this game more than I would play. When I did play, I'd make it to what the heck many times and have to start all over. Now with that said, Earthworm Jim is what many would consider a really hard game. I guess I can't argue with them. In my early years with this game, I get to Down the Tubes Part 2 and almost never make it past there. Little did I know there was a secret air resupply until more recently. That's right. Even as a kid, I thought it was natural just to zoom all the way through it. So, I had gotten pretty used to getting through some of the most difficult challenges a player would come across in gaming. Granted, there are always other games that would get me here and there, Ninja Gaiden on the NES being one of them. However, today is the day I attempt to get as many achievements as I can in the Genesis version of Earthworm Jim. First things first, I can't use a gun for this level. It will be a thing throughout the first run. However, focusing on New Junk City, I make my way over to launch a cow. We'll be seeing her later. After launching the cow, it is time to do some collecting too, so I go for a hidden life, but while doing so, I hover to get I'm Jimmy Helicopter. This gets me access to a life that is below the start of the level. Again, something I didn't know how to do when I was a kid. While grabbing that extra life, I also pick up a plasma blaster for another achievement and head back to where I launched the cow. The first real challenge is to whip continuously. I need to whip and hook 10 times in a row without touching the ground. I do this off the head of a moose while going for the next achievement. That gets me hooks and whips. I make my way over to the toilet and voila. Wait, are you sure we need to go there? Seriously, that's the achievement. After having warped to the new area, I max out my plasma guns. This gets me Plasma Key. Also, I grab another life, which gets me the Hey Billy, that's mine achievement. Next, I need to beat this
egg-sucking piece of gutter trash.
Yeah, I kind of want to say more than just that. Let me be clear. I never, ever attempted to beat this boss without a gun. So, needless to say, this was not a fun time for me. I did start on normal for reasons. The damage is reasonable. I had to try numerous times to beat this trash can with a whip until I finally developed patience and saw a pattern I could deal with after a time. However, since I failed to beat him with all of my lives gone, I decided to start over and go for a life that I missed at the conveyor belt. Well, I know there is a life to pick up here somewhere. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look it up. I don't know where it's at. It is simply not showing up. Of course, while I do search for it, I do get an achievement for reaching 3,000 bullets, which is now I am ready to fight. If only that were true. So I carry on. After getting my ass chewed out by these dogs, I get back to the trash can. I develop my whipping strat some more.
Correct and whip!
By whipping it, I finally beat that trash can with 10% left. Fortunately, there is a health refill nearby, so I jump up and sling Jim across to get the health and the big yummy secret junk health achievement. I make it to Billy, or I think that is his name. It's either that or Chuck. I do need to beat him without using a gun, so I get to safely whip these boxes over to the spring beneath him while avoiding the saxophones. That and the fish he spits at me after hitting him. Before I finish the fight though, there is one more thing I must do. I need to jump on that spring. This gets me the Chuck's Little Secret achievement. I finally finished the fight and the level to get the New Junk City and Unarmed New Junk City achievements. I get to go for a race with Psycho for a few achievements. I aim to get 60 bubbles, but end up missing too many. Damn! However, because I didn't get any speed boosts or use the shields, I get an achievement for that, beating Psycho and collecting a continue, it seems. So, I can live with that. You would think it would be scary to go through this level without a gun, but it is more of an advantage to most enemies. The blackened ghosts are defeated with a single hit. If you don't use your whip, then it takes several shots with your gun. That, or a single shot with your plasma gun. The first order of business is to grab the lives I need for the respective achievements. I get the first one near the start of the level by whipping into a hidden area. I make my way around and up as well, back to a familiar area. This brings me to a lawyer. I ignore the enemy, or at least I try to. Then I use my whip to catch a hook, which allows me to skip the fight with Rusty the Snowman, as well as getting another life, getting me an achievement. It is then off to the final life to collect, which is nearby. All you have to do is ride the 2 green crystals to the top, and then jump to your left to get it. Since that is out of the way, it is time to move on to the next level. Just about. I whip myself on over to the next area to Evil the Cat shooting at Jim. Avoid the blast of the barrier breaks, allowing you to get to the suit. Jump on in and... I'm nude. No, I mean, that's the achievement. You guys are weird. Anyway, that leaves Evil the Cat to take care of, and I can't use my gun. Fun times. Yeah, it's a bit of a pain to use the whip against Evil the Cat. He appears rather quickly, and you have to react just as quick. However, your whip is slow, so you need some good timing for this to work out. Ultimately, I had to do some pause buffering to make it easier on myself. Yes, it's not an issue with the achievement. So pause to your heart's content so you know where Evil the Cat is coming from.
Finish him!
And got the achievements for beating What the Heck as well as finishing it unarmed. On to another race with Psycho. There isn't a lot to say about it really. It's similar in all ways, but gets more and more difficult throughout. Finish the race ahead of Psycho and claim the achievement. Now down the tubes. Probably a source of frustration for a lot of players casually. Just to glance over the achievements in the first part. I hop on this gerbil and have it eat an enemy for the Cheek Stuffer achievement. Right after that, I jump up and get into the ship, which I have to do damageless. I do this easy. That is only the first one though. That's right, I have to do this 2 more times. The second one takes me a few tries, but I got that one easy as well. Now at the end of the level, there is a problem. There is an enemy that can't be defeated by the whip. You have to use a plasma gun to get him out of the way. So, the only thing I can do, get grabbed and thrown to the right. So I do that, jump up at the very end and grab a life to get another achievement. There are a few hidden lives to get in this area, both while in the ship. So I grab those 2 easy achievements, then I go for a tough one. This achievement requires you to get all the way to the next area with the timer having more than 25 seconds on it. You'll have to speed like a demon to achieve this. It was only a slight challenge for me though. This unlocks the Don't Waste Your Time achievement. Finally at the end, I get the achievements for beating the area and going through it without using a gun. Oh, I also beat Andy Asteroids for the 3rd time and get that achievement. There are 3 achievements, one for each round that needs to be beaten in a special way. The first round I have to beat Snot without taking damage. No problem. The second one I have to beat him in less than 3 dives. Success. Then the third one I have to beat him without using any of the buttons other than the directional ones. Still, easy. This gets me the Yeah, it's really a problem and snotty problem achievements. This leads me right back into Andy Asteroids. Yeah, I get an achievement for that again. Level 5 can be considered problematic when you're only able to use your whip. The problem is that there are enemies that are hard to hit and even one that divides itself up further upon hitting it. Those enemies are rather small and so much harder to hit, so you'll take a lot of damage. What? You thought it would be the caged areas? Nah, that's not a problem really. Thankfully you're allowed to use your gun. Otherwise you'd have to take damage on purpose to hopefully get past it. It just wouldn't work on higher difficulties. So what is up at this point is taking a shot in the dark. Entering this hidden level gets a Join the Dark Side, Jimmy achievement. Within this series of mini areas, there are a few lives to get, and with that, there are achievements. The first one I get is pretty simple, easier than I thought. Go up to the top and jump up. You will then grab onto something. You then just go on over to your right to get the A Life in the Darkness achievement. The second one to get is a bit complicated as I never really took the time to get it. I do get it and get the I Need to Get Under That Staircase achievement. All that is left now is to get past the huge set of eyes. Who knows what the creature is, but I would say it's a huge cat. Anyway, I fell a few times at jumping over it, which is the only way to get past it. I do make it past the enemy, get to the exit, and get the He Made Darkness His Covering achievement. I get to the next area now that I am back in level 5. I need to get a life that is kind of out of the way. However, Jim gets separated from his suit, so you need to go to your right and get your suit back first. Then you go back to the left where the suit was. After that, jump up, whip to the top, and claim the life to get the Life on the Hook achievement. The only thing that remains is getting through the rest of the area. However, with a whip, it is still a bit of a pain. But there are some things that make it easier, like those black spheres that spawn enemies. Just whip them a few times. Always the best option anyway. Professor Monkey for a head? Whip him to the edge of a chain and he goes away automatically instead of having to whip him all the way in the opposite direction. That brings me to Robot Chicken. No, not that one. Anyway, whip the target at the right time to attack it. After doing so, you get transported to another area. You can either whip or attack it with your gun, but I still need to use my whip only. I also need to do damage lists against him, but for now, getting a whip only level 5 is good enough for me. This gives me 2 achievements, one for being level 5 and another for beating it unarmed. I come across anti-asteroids again and lose. I do need to win this race, but whatever. I probably need to fight Psychro anyway. So I fight the Cluck and get the Be Gone Scavenger achievement. First things first with this one. I need to make it through here without using a weapon. It can be a struggle. It's hard to hit the UFOs and the obstacles are a bit of a pain. For example, I can't really do anything against a meteor shower other than just take hits. At first I tried to leave Pete behind and make a break for it, but that proved futile. I found myself purposely whipping Pete into the vines to break them so I can progress easier. I do this a few times. One, in fact, to get a life, and get the Hold On Pete, I Need This Life achievement. Fortunately, for this achievement all I needed to do was get him through the basic course. For doing so, I get the For Pete's Sake and Unarmed For Pete's Sake achievements. Oh yeah, anti-asteroids. I lose to Psychro and need to fight him again. Oh well. Intestinal Distress. Just like the others, I need to go through without a gun. It is kind of fun really. I love this level. It can be considered disgusting, but I like it. There isn't a whole lot to say about going through without a gun. Also, I grab a life on the way, getting me the I've Got the Guts achievement. I have one other achievement I want to get before making it to the boss. I need to find a secret room with nothing in it. The only place I can think of is a place that has a dead end. So I go there, and sure enough, I get the Who Was Here Before Me achievement. Finally, I make it to the boss, and since I can't use my guns, I just whip it.
You must whip it.
Within a few hits, I have beaten the level and got the Intestinal Distress and Unarmed Intestinal Distress achievements. Oh, I beat Psychro and get the Final Run achievement too. I need to grab 5 different lives in this area. They are located at different points from each other, so much so that you need to go either through the game again or just lose a life. If you want them all in a single run, just lose a life. I was able to find and grab 3 fairly easily. The 4th one is a very tight fit. Look at that. Anyway, I grabbed 4 of them and then kind of had no idea where the 5th one was at. I looked all over, so I will grab it next time. The final stretch for beating the game. Since I can't use guns, I'm left taking damage throughout this area. I do avoid some of it though. There are quite a few things I missed that I have to get later as well. I only find this out after I beat the game. I get to slug for a butt and beat her in one whip. This gives me 3 achievements: Buttville, You Did It, and Unarmed Buttville. With that done, it's time to go for the ones I couldn't get on my previous run. With this one, I didn't really plan it out too well. At first, I thought going through the level slow and easy while being careful would make it easy. It wasn't the case, so I took the path to the warp and made my way to the trash can. Also note that there was a life I was looking for that I couldn't find. One of the reasons why I took the normal path. Whatever though, I will figure it out later. So I beat the trash can and make it to Chuck. I needed to be careful, so I took my time and made sure that the saxophones didn't hit me before hitting Chuck. This gets me be careful at the start. Back in What the Heck, I need to grab an achievement for making a green Jim go all the way to the top. Take out a lawyer and get 9 plasma guns for the respective achievements. Next up is down the tubes. The one thing I missed, going through the last area without having the ship take damage. I've done this before, so it's not too difficult, but it still took some time. I'm missing being the robot chicken. I'm missing the achievement for being this chicken without taking damage, so I go for it. I get impatient and save that for another time. I beat Psychro in this race this time, giving me an achievement and getting me to for Pete's sake. This time I have to make sure Pete doesn't turn into a monster. If I fail, I have to retry by continuing. Fortunately, I did this on my first try. I get the Just a Peaceful Stroll with My Dog achievement for doing so. Once again, I beat Psychro in a race and get another achievement as well. For intestinal distress, I needed to find 4 plasma guns without taking damage. At first, I didn't know where they were at, but I found them. It was a bit of a pain getting there without taking damage. The spawns for obstacles was a bit annoying. For this, I got the Plasma Savior in Intestinal Distress achievement. Back in Buttville, I needed to find that life that I missed. So, I looked at a video provided by someone else that did the achievement. You need to take a specific path, and near the end, you need to take the most difficult path. In fact, I would say it is the hardest path you have to take to grab the hidden life, getting me the, hey, here's another one, achievement. The next task is to find the hidden lives that I missed. One was by Continue, and the other way above the Queen's rear end. After that, all I had to do was beat the Queen for now. Well, at least I thought that was all the stuff I could do. I was missing more. So I got an achievement for beating the game without using a Continue.
Groovy.
That summed up my first stream, which I think was quite productive. I'm quite hopeful I can get the rest done next stream. First things first, I need to get a life. Literally, that is the first thing I want to do. How to do it is a different question. It's that life that I miss in New Junk City. You'd think it would be simple to figure out. It's not so simple. I spent around 30 minutes trying to get this life to show up just to dig deep online to find the reason as to why it wasn't. To my surprise, it's a secret unlock further away from its location. The secret to unlocking it is near the start of the area. You need to get inside the Tower of Tires and jump on a specific point for a glowing orb to show up as well as a sheep sound effect to play. This confirms that you have unlocked it. Now all that is left is to go over to its location and grab that life. This gives me the Secret Junkyard Conveyor Life achievement, and a secret it was. However, that wasn't the only secret that drove me a bit nuts. You also have to grab all the regular ammunition in the game. However, I maxed out with getting 17 of them instead of the 20. I also had to dig deep. With the help of my brother, Cajun Kishi, I was able to find these. Shoutouts to him. There is also a specific path you need to take to get all the ammunition. However, if you're missing 3 of them, then this is what you need to do. Go past the Tower of Tires and up above the level, instead of going left towards the warp. Now that you're up here, go to your left and climb to the top of the upper leftmost part. At the very top, push jump and an orb will circle around as well as a sound of a sheep being heard. Go to your right a little bit and you will see 3 gun ammunitions to collect. I didn't realize when those orbs appeared and unlocked secrets. My mind was blown.
I did not mean to blow your mind.
This gives me the Gun Baron Jim achievement. Also, I maxed out my ammo at 5,000, giving me the Now I Am Ready to Kill achievement. Finally, after going through any asteroids so much, I didn't pick up anything and got the achievement Good Clean Run. I make it back to Robot Chicken in level 5 and try to beat it without taking damage. Due to my lack of patience, I continue on. I'll get you next time. Before long, I make it to For Pete's Sake, and I need to get 3 lives as well as being the advanced course. I get the "do I really need to be here? Hold my beer, Pete. It's time to go home now," and "it would be cool to walk here" achievements. Now back in Buttville, I decided to try and go for a few achievements, but ended up with just getting 1. To get it, you have to make it all the way to Queen Slug for a butt. Once you do, get back up on top of her for some extra health, which gives me the Secret Health Collector achievement. After trying to get 60 bubbles in anti-asteroids for so long, I finally got it. It's not that hard of an achievement, but sometimes it is easy to miss some of them, especially if Psycho gets in your way and collects it himself. This gets me the "damn I'm good" achievement.
Damn, I'm good! Can you feel that?
The last achievement for the stream I plan on waiting on. However, when trying to figure out if I could use level select, I entered the code and unlocked the "Hey, Shiny Crew and DL only" achievement. Oh well. I was confused because a lot of achievements say LS, which I thought stood for level select. It looks like I'll be going completely old school on the remaining ones. That suits me just fine. The start of the 3rd day comes with its own challenges, especially when I need to beat each stage on difficult, excluding the anti-asteroid stages. On top of that, I need to make it through all of the levels without losing a life. New Junk City I have gotten used to. The biggest obstacle here is Billy the Bin. Since Billy is fast, it makes it difficult to get a good amount of damage in. That, and dodging Billy at the same time makes it a time-consuming fight. Chuck isn't that big of a deal. Nothing really changes, just have to be careful. In all, it was pretty simple to get these 2 achievements. What the heck was up next? There isn't anything too notable about this stage. The extra damage just means I had to be cautious. I did have to fight Rusty on difficult and defeat him though. It was easier than I remember. Other than that, everything was pretty smooth up until Evil the Cat. For Evil the Cat, I did some pause buffering to assure that I can get through it without losing a life. Otherwise, it can be quite a challenge. The one issue I have always had with this fight is that Evil sometimes just jumps right where you're at and you have no reaction time, so you just take damage. For this portion of Down the Tubes, I need to collect plasma guns. There are 10 located throughout the area. The first 3 are next to the hamster. The next 4 are hidden after getting the first ship. You want to go northeast a bit and then go behind the foreground to get them. After getting out of the ship, you can jump up and to the right through a hidden area that holds a plasma gun. Finally, the last 2 are in the final area of the next ship area, somewhat out of the way. This gets me the Plasma Keeper and Down the Tubes achievement. Finishing this area on difficult also grants me the "now this tube is half full" achievement. It's only half full. Get it? Like, the glass is half full? Never mind. There was nothing all that special about the second area of Down the Tubes. Yes, I had to go through the long ship area. Yes, I did take a lot of damage because I was rushing for no reason. Yes, I was a bit nervous because I was like 1 hit away from losing a life. However, I made it through this just fine and got the 2 achievements I needed, so I'm quite happy with it. I could have taken it slower, but I did just fine. Next up is not a problem. I have to beat all 3 rounds without losing a life. Let me start with saying how much of a pain this is. See, your bungee doesn't recover from rounds, so you don't want to take any damage. Also, Mucus will damage you when he spins around. That is what got me to lose a life. Not that it would have mattered much since he had plenty of health. So for now, I'll have to come back to it. I'll take the achievement No Mercy and be on my way, thank you. Level 5 is also a pain. Getting through it without losing your life is a problem I couldn't deal with right now. So I went for plasma guns. I need to get 5 of them to get the Plasma Keeper and Level 5 achievement. There are 2 at the drop when you're released from the cage. One on the right side and one on the left. There is one next to the teleporter, so jump over it. There is another over at the conveyor belts, hidden away. To get to it, you'll have to jump down and go left through a hidden area. At the end, you'll find energy surrounding the plasma ammo. Finally, after exiting the final teleporter, jump up behind the first pillar to get the plasma ammo and the Plasma Keeper in Level 5 achievement. I make it back to Robot Chicken, and do pretty well. Just when I think I'm about to beat the chicken without getting hit, I get hit. To put salt in the wound, the chicken was only 1 hit away. Damn you. As a consolation, I do get the Monkey, Chicken, and Brains achievement for beating the level on difficult. I'll get you next time, chicken. For Pete's sake is no walk in the park, not on difficult. Couple that with low energy and you need to manage it well. All the obstacles become a bit tricky, but for the most part, it is just being cautious. I started for Pete's sake wanting to get Unbreakable and just beating it. Fortunately, it turned out in my favor. I was able to grab the Canine Astronomical Observations and Unbreakable for Pete's sake achievements. That was easy enough. So it's intestinal distress on difficult now. The only thing left here is to get through it without losing a life. It actually went pretty well, though I had to manage my health quite a bit. I opted to grab the 4 plasma guns, so when I made it to the boss I can ask the boss one question.
Do I feel lucky? Do ya? Punks?
Thus, gave me the Unbreakable Intestinal Distress achievement. For this next achievement, I have to lose to Psychro on purpose in this anti-asteroids race. That way I can fight him. After that, all I have to do is win. Lose the race, win the fight, get the Ultimate Crow Killer achievement. There are still a number of achievements to go for in Buttville, one of which you only have one attempt at. That is the one where you don't lose a life. So I tried to get all the gun ammo and I couldn't either. In the end, I got the Prince of the Worms and the You're the Best achievements. Not wanting too short of a stream, I went for some extra achievements. Still not being able to beat Major Mucus without losing a life. Damn him. I continue on to level 5. I struggle a bit to attain the achievement I want, which is Unbreakable level 5. If I continue, I can completely retry it. So that is what I did. The part that did me in the most was the caged areas. I took so much damage. After that though, I was able to recover. The level isn't too bad, but then I find myself with my old nemesis, Robot Chicken. I end up taking damage by running into a wall accidentally. So to get the damageless achievement, it looks like I'll have to go another round. The final achievement for the day wasn't for Pete's sake. I didn't get through the advanced course yet. So that is what I wanted to do. It was the final playthrough for now. Getting through the advanced course is a challenge, but I was able to do it. I can re-grab lives and memorize what is coming up, so it was nice to be able to get. It gets me the achievement, it would be fun to walk here. My closing comments on this day. Even though it was a success, I did try to get some other achievements on difficult, mainly pertaining to Buttville. Again, I wasn't able to succeed in not losing a life or any of the others, so that is something for another day. My next adventure begins getting back to the Snada problem rounds. I need to win all 3 rounds without being split in half or my rope breaking. The first round is easy, just push them into the corners. Simple. The second round? Well, push them into the corners, but being careful as well. Also keeping in mind to avoid the snot monster at the bottom. Again, it didn't go too bad. The third round is where I began to be really cautious. Getting Mucus rammed into the edges is a bit tougher. His slamming back at me is pretty deadly, so with a little time and effort I was finally able to make Mucus fall into the abyss. This gets me the Unbreakable Snada Problem achievement. This next achievement leads me to my arch nemesis, Robot Chicken. I make it back to the Robot Chicken and I'm only giving it so many tries. I am on difficult and I don't want to spend too many lives or continues on it. 5 lives later, I get the achievement Anti-Chicken Invincibility. Goodbye you, Cluck. Cluck you, you damn chicken. Oh, and to make this easier, you can shoot the bombs. I didn't realize that until later. I make it all the way back to Buttville and need to beat it without losing a life. I play it cautiously and try to make it through it just focused solely on this goal. Going slow and knowing what is coming up really helped me get through this area. When it came time to go up against Slug for a butt, I also played quite cautiously, just shooting Slug for a butt until it was over. Finally I got the achievement Unbreakable Buttville. I continued on trying to get more achievements, but it was all at the end. I either play through the game and don't lose a life, which is what I was going for, then this happened. So now I needed to find out what I wanted to do. Finally figuring out level select, it will make things quicker to get through. So next up, hopefully finishing off this set for the master. I have only a little bit more to go with achievements. Since I was able to figure out how to use level select and get achievements with it, I now use it to get to Buttville. The goal of this one in particular is to get through it without picking up a gun. There are a few challenges in it. A few guns are placed in such a way that makes it hard to avoid. I did figure out how to make it past them though. The first one I essentially frame perfect hugged the edge and floated down. The other one that gave me trouble is an annoying placed one that required I had a lot of health. I jumped into the spikes to bypass. Then I finally ducked to make sure I didn't collect another gun. All that was left was making sure I defeated the queen. Doing so grants me the Peaceful Warm achievement. Yes, I was a bit concerned when I was at 10% health. I had planned to get 2 achievements at the same time, but it didn't work out. I needed to collect all guns and defeat Slug for a butt with a plasma gun. Ultimately, I ended up doing these 2 separately. Getting all of the guns isn't all that hard. There really isn't anything too hidden for me. There are a few things to look out for when collecting guns. The main thing is to explore everywhere. The biggest concern is getting to Slug for a butt and then looping to get the extra guns. That is the only truly hidden ones to get in my opinion. Anyway, getting all the guns gives me the Gun King Jim achievement. The next achievement, the one to truly blow Slug for a butt away, I failed a few times. Mainly it's just being accurate that caused me not to get the achievement. Playing on normal allowed me to speedrun straight to her with all the ammo I needed. Then just circle around after using the ammo to get more. Make sure you have good aim and you get the "Hey, plasma is my strongest weapon. Sounds easy enough" achievement. The final achievement came down to not losing a life. Not because I wasn't skilled enough to do so, it was just hard to focus on it with all the others in the way. If I failed once, it means I could just move on and get more. There were some close calls though, like down the tubes. I jumped up to grab the hook, but I didn't. Doing so caused me to get grabbed by one cat. Then, I ended up getting hit a total of 4 times, draining my health in a matter of seconds. I had to be careful and ultimately got my health refilled. That was the name of the game here though, being careful. I also did some strats to it too, just to shorten it up. I tried to avoid bubbles so it doesn't show me collecting a continue. A continue is just as unnecessary as lives are for this run. I also tried to avoid going to areas that had lives in them. I played it safe in Tube Race and tried to do the same for Snotty Problem. However, it was still a big problem. Where I dominated and made sure I wouldn't get caught by the Snot Monster, my bungee was wearing thin. Also representative of how much life I have left. Thankfully, I made Mucus take the plunge. Still though, I had anti-asteroids coming up and I needed to avoid asteroids at all costs. They could end a life in one hit. So again, I was cautious until I got to level 5 to see how much health I had. Realizing I only had 20% left, I had to play cautious until I get filled up on health. Health wasn't far away, but I did take a hit. I was still focused enough to keep my goal in mind. There were some ups and downs, but I got through level 5 easily. There wasn't a whole lot to it anymore. For Pete's sake, it may seem like it would be a challenge, but it really isn't. Pete isn't a priority. Jim is. I made sure to refill my health as much as I can and went on to the next level, Intestinal Distress. I approached this level like many others, with caution. I also made sure to grab the plasma guns to blow the boss away.
I was gonna have to lay you out with this, and with this, and with that.
All that stood in my way was Buttville and Queen Slug for a butt. I kind of just ran through this and made sure to be cautious at the same time. I took out beehives and collected the plasma guns since I needed them for easy damage against the queen. When I made it to her, I unloaded the plasma guns and then made sure she kept eating lead. Before long, I had done it. I've become the King of the Worms. Overall, Earthworm Jim is a fun game. This represents plenty of challenges that are pretty fair. It forces you to play multiple times, but also gives you level select so you can practice getting those achievements as well as just going for them. Even on hardcore. If you're looking for a good set to replay a game that is amazing, then I definitely recommend this set. While getting these achievements, you get to experience a lot of the game and a lot of the things you may not have caught before. It's a set worthy of Earthworm Jim in my opinion. So, I challenge you to take up the challenge. Can you get all the achievements in Earthworm Jim? If you enjoyed this video, then please like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. Do you have any recommendations for a set I should try? Let me know in the comments.